guys, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name's Emma, or Emily, who's to say, and today I'm going to be doing my June TBR. Now, I won't normally be putting up TBRs. I didn't for May. That's mostly because I change my mind a lot on what I want to read, but I will be posting TBRs for when I'm participating in readathons, and I'm participating in 3 different readathons this month. So, also before we get started, I just quickly wanted to talk about what's going on right now. There's a lot going on that is not good. And I know it can be really stressful to try and figure out how you can help, especially if you are not in a position to donate money, but there are also many petitions that you can sign, and I will leave a link down below to petitions or donations and other resources for the Black Lives Matter movement. I just wanted to say that if you have a platform, do your best to speak about it. Being quiet doesn't help push the movement forward, and I just wanted to preface this video with that so you can keep that in mind. Okay, so the first readathon that I'm going to be participating in this month lasts for the whole month, and that is the Make Your Myth Taker readathon. And for this, I am choosing to go down the Viking path, and yeah, so let's just get into the prompts. The first prompt is to read a book set in a cold place, and for this I am going to be reading New Moon by Stephanie Meyer. This is the first time I'm reading the Twilight Saga, and I'm doing this as a part of a read-along, or reread-along for most people, I think. But yeah, there's a live show every 3 weeks, and the live show for New Moon is on the 14th, so I am hoping to read this very early on in June. The next prompt is to read a book with a weapon on the cover, and for that I'm going to be reading Peter Pan by J.M. Barrie. He's carrying a sword. So I've never read Peter Pan either, and it just seems like one of those classic stories that I probably should know. Yeah, so I'm really excited to read this, and I think it'll be a really quick read. The next prompt is to read a book featuring a journey, and for that I'm going to be reading The Hobbit by J.R.R. Tolkien. I almost said J.M. Barrie. I don't have much to say about this. It's a pretty well-known book. And the last prompt I have to complete in order to become a Viking is to read an overhyped book. The only problem with this prompt is that I don't know if the book's overhyped until I've read it, or if it's like overhyped in my opinion, you know? But it is a very well-loved and a very hyped book on BookTube and just in general, and for this prompt I'm going to be reading Vicious by V.E. Schwab. I'm really excited to read this. Not much else I can say, but it is very well loved. The next readathon I'm going to be participating in is the Read Your Gaze Queer Scouts readathon, and for this each book that you read must include one or more characters in the LGBTQ community or an LGBTQ author. So the first book I'm going to be reading is A Darker Shade of Magic by V.E. Schwab. I believe that there are some characters in here who are in the LGBTQ+ community, but I don't think they're talked about that much. But Victoria Schwab herself is in the LGBTQ community, so this still works. And this will get me the first aid badge, and for that you have to read a dystopian novel. I believe this is dystopian. From what I've read on the back, it seems pretty dystopian, or maybe it's just urban fantasy, but I think it's dystopian, so. The next book I'm going to be reading is The Raven Boys by Maggie Stiefvater. This will fulfill 2 of the badges. That is the birdwatching badge, have a bird on the cover, and the art badge to have an illustrated cover. Both the pictures of the boys and the bird are illustrated. The next book I'm going to be reading is Camp by L.C. Rosen, and this will fulfill the camping badge, and for that you have to read a book set in the woods, and I'm going to be reading this one on Kindle. The next one is The Song of Achilles by Madeline Miller, and this will fulfill the nature prompt because he's trained by Chiron for part of this book, and so I believe, I'm pretty sure that's set in nature in the forest sort of areas, but in case this doesn't work, Camp by L.C. Rosen will still count for this badge as well. So, I mean, I hope this works, but maybe it won't. I don't know. And the last book for this is Felix Ever After, and reading this book will earn me the teamwork badge, and for that you have to read the group book, which is Felix Ever After. This one is currently on its way in the mail, although it says it will get here June 16th, and the readathon is from the 8th to the 14th or 15th, so maybe it'll come here early, but I am still going to read this regardless of if I make it in time for the readathon. And the last readathon that I'm going to be participating in this month is the, does it have a name? Hogsmeade Trip Magical Readathon. hosted by G. She just posted this video this morning and I was really excited because I was filming this today and I was able to create a TBR for it. So I haven't sat on these for a bit, so they may end up changing, but I'm not sure. This readathon takes place from the 22nd to the 28th. I have the prompts up here because this was very last minute. And there are 10 different prompts, and I'm just now remembering that I'm pretty sure you can double up, which I did not do. You know what? We're just gonna keep going. We'll figure it out later. So the first place you have to visit is the Weasley twins, and they will give you the Marauders map. And for this you have to read a book with a map in it. And for that I'm going to be reading Clockwork Prince by Cassandra. I just tried to make Kendara Blake with Cassandra Clare. Cassandra Clare. It's right there. That rhymed. There's the map. This is the second book in the Infernal Devices trilogy, and I read the first book a month or two ago, but I really enjoyed it and I really want to read this now because I still haven't gotten to it and I really need to. The next one is The Three Broomsticks, and for this you have to read a book that is in a trilogy. And for this I'm going to be reading Siege and Storm by Leigh Bardugo. The other alternative I have for this is to read Clockwork Princess because that's the third book in this trilogy. So if I feel like I don't want to read this and I just want to continue and finish off the Infernal Devices, I might read Clockwork Princess instead, but this is what I have planned so far. And this is the second book in the Grishaverse trilogy. The third place you can visit is Madame Puddingfoot's Tea and Cakes. And for this you have to start your book with a cup of tea. So brew your cup of tea first and then start reading it with a cup of tea. And for this I'm going to be reading If We Were Villains by M.L. Rio. And I've been wanting to read this for a long time and I'm really excited to get to it, as with basically all of these books. The fourth place you can visit is Hogsheade, and for this you have to read a book that is not so popular and has under 10,000 ratings on Goodreads. And for this I'm going to be reading Modern Love, edited by Daniel Jones. This is a collection of a bunch of New York Times stories based around like love and true stories of love, loss, and redemption. Basically like a short story collection, but all basically true if you can trust your narrators. But yeah. The next place you can visit is Honeydukes, and for this you have to read a book with a pink or green cover or has sweets or cakes on the cover. And for this one I'm going to be reading Lovely War by Julie Berry. This is a pretty pink cover, if I do say so myself. Even the spine is pink. And then, I mean, I guess this isn't pink, but underneath it's like this really pretty wine color. But I guess that's not pink, that's red, but pink cover. The sixth place that you can visit is Zamko's Joke Shop, and for this you have to read a humorous read. For this I'm going to be reading Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix by J.K. Rowling. Now, I know this one has some sad stuff in it, but I just find the Harry Potter books in general really funny and really entertaining. I've been reading one every month starting March, but I started with the second one, so yeah. But I listen to these on audiobook, which will be really handy when I'm trying to read all of these books in a week. The next place is The Shrieking Shack, and for this you have to read a thriller or a horror novel. And I'm going to be reading Everything I Never Told You by Celeste Ng. I'm really excited to read this. I've been wanting to read it for a while. The next place you can visit is Scriven Shaft's Quill Shop, and for this you have to read a book written by a person of color, and I'm going to be listening to the audiobook of The Poet X by Elizabeth Acevedo. I have heard a lot of praise about this book, and I've also heard a lot of praise about the audiobook in particular because I believe she narrates it, and so she gets the timing just how she meant it to be, which sounds really cool. The ninth place you can visit is the Owl Post, and for this you have to read a book that was sent to you by the post, or the last book that you added to your TBR is Normal People by Sally Rooney. I just started watching the Hulu show and I absolutely loved it, and I haven't even finished the Hulu show because I can't decide if I want to finish the Hulu show and then read the book or just read the book and then finish the Hulu show. I don't know what I want to do, but Normal People by Sally Rooney is most likely what I'm going to use to fill this prompt. The 10th and last place that you can visit is Dervish and Banges, and for this you have to read a steampunk read. I don't think I have any steampunk reads, and I also don't know exactly what qualifies it as a steampunk read. So this is the only prompt that I'm not really participating in. Maybe at a later date I'll realize that one of the books I already own is steampunk and I'll read that, but this is the one that I think I just may not participate in. And that is it for the Hogsmeade Readathon, and there was only one more book left that I am planning on reading this month, although I don't think I'm planning on finishing it this month, and that is Harry Potter à l'école des sorcières. And this is the first Harry Potter book in French. Don't even get me started on the title translation. It bothers me so much. Because I have a bunch of other readathons going on, this one will probably not get as much attention, but it's one that I want to read slowly anyways. It's not one that I want to try and power my way through without really understanding anything. This will be a slow one anyways, so I'm not that worried about it. Also, I think it's really cute because it has Hagrid, like a little drawing of Hagrid on the back. Isn't that just so cute? It also has a little one of Harry. Anyways, yeah, this is the only book that isn't part of a readathon. Mostly because I know that this is going to take me a while to read and it's not one I want to try to rush through for a readathon. I hope you guys enjoyed watching. If you did, please give this video a like, and if you want to see more videos from me, you can go ahead and subscribe. I hope you have a wonderful day. I'll see you later. Bye.